Just the breath. You're not exactly changing the quality of the breath, just noticing the air flowing from the nose. Let's go ahead and bring our left hand to rest on our chest, right hand right under the belly button. Just gently warming up those areas. We'll start to develop a more focused breath here. So let's inhale. Slower inhale, drawing it all the way, maybe to the top of the crown of the head if you can feel that energy. A brief pause before you start slowly, with control, exhaling. Maybe you'll notice the belly fully emptied of air. You can gently press the belly hand inward or draw the navel towards the spine. And as your breath cycle, the inhale, the pause, the exhale, and again the pause before you start the next breath cycle. Developing that, you should find the length of the breath just a little bit longer now. Let's go ahead and bring the sound, the ocean or a deep sigh to the back of the throat. And as we've cultivated that deeper ocean-like breath, the ujjayi breath, know that you can be connected to that at any time. Let's go ahead and release our hands. And bringing movement to the breath now, let's go ahead and inhale just a little taller in our mountain. Start to feel that energy coming from the earth, through the feet, through the legs, spine, maybe even up through the crown of the head. Feel that lifting sensation. And then with the slow, controlled exhale, start to feel that energy going back in reverse down the body. And as you're expelling the air, make sure the bottom of your exhale has an engaged belly. Now let's inhale slowly, start to roll the weight towards the toes, keeping upright, feeling that edge of almost tipping over, and then you stop. Using the next breath, we'll go ahead and roll the weight under the feet, start to feel that tipping back sensation at the heels, and stop, of course, before you fall. We're just going to use that front to back movement, coordinating it with the breath, to just see how it feels to be balancing and exploring our sense of balance from the toes to the heels. And then we'll meet somewhere at the center, above the arches. Dropping back into a mountain, I like to inhale to extend upward. Once more, really energizing upward, and then exhale. Let's just roll the weight towards the outer right edge of our feet. We're going to inhale back up to center or all the way over to the other side. But use this 2 or 3 part breath. Inhale up to center, exhale to either side, or just use each breath to, like a metronome stick, just moving from left to right with the breath. But once you get an idea of how that feels, we can meet back at center. Inhaling once more to reset our mountain. We're going to stay lifted while we make small circles in one direction. Kind of imagine spiraling out from that center of position at the feet until you can feel the very edges, the perimeter of the soles of the feet. Once you find that edge, you can go ahead and tighten in those circles. We'll meet back at center, dropping back into a mountain, resetting, inhaling tall, and making the small circles in the opposite direction. Starting off smaller, widening them as we feel the edge of our boundary. Might be choppier, might be more of a rectangular instead of an elliptical path. It's just something to notice. Might be the same. We'll come back to center when you're done exploring and inhaling tall once more in our mountain. let's go ahead and start into the other parts of our body. We're going to warm up the hips. Usually I start with the right hip, but because I'm facing you this way, let's go ahead and start with the left hip. Go ahead and bring some standing weight into your right standing leg. And just imagine stacking the knee above the ankle, the hip above the knee, everything stacked one on top of the other like we've done before in that exercise with the block in tree. But as we get that standing weight support here without hyperextending our right knee, we can go ahead and inhale, lift the left foot up. We'll go ahead and set it back down. Take another moment here, inhale, put some standing weight into the right standing leg, lift up the foot, bend the knee slightly if you'd like, and just start to wobble it or move it front to back. Just get a little bit of motion in that left hip, and then let it down. And if you fall out, that's okay. It won't be the first time, won't be the last. Just come on back in. We'll come back to mountain, and we're going to still focus on the left hip. We'll bring standing weight one more time into the right standing leg. And this time, bring up the foot a little higher. The left foot, inhale up, and bring the bent knee towards the inner and then outer rotation of that left hip. We'll do that a total of 4 times. So I'm on my second one, and your rotation will get a little bigger as you find that range of mobility. Just do your best. And then we'll switch the direction. We'll start another standing leg here, but from outer to inner rotation of the left hip. And notice how it feels. If it's different, the same, just gives you a clue to how your body is responding today. And we'll go ahead and kick out some of that standing activation of that right leg. So bringing a little bit of weight to the left leg, you can kick out the right foot forward to the side, forward to the side a little bit, before you cross that midline, before you cross the left foot. Okay, and then we'll go ahead and move to the other leg. So now our standing weight will be in our left leg. So breathing that support column there. Let's go ahead and inhale, lift up the right foot when you're stable, and just keeping it there. Just hover above the mat for a few seconds. If you fall, that's okay. If you touch down with toes, that's okay. And then land the foot gently. We'll come back to the left standing leg once more and start the hip rotations. Excuse me, the hip swinging front to back. Inhaling, let's lift up the right foot and just swing it a little bit if you have that balance. Don't need much, it's just forward to back movement that we are hoping to cultivate. With the foot above the mat, and then you can let that rest. Go ahead, one more inhale into the left standing leg, nice and tall, and now we'll go into the hip rotations. So inhale the right foot up, bending the right knee, inner and then outer rotation of the right hip. We'll do 3 more, a total of 4, just to get that range of mobility identified. And then we can reverse that direction, outer to in. And hopefully your left knee is not bending. And if you find you have a little bit of stability you need to bring back, you can always gently engage the glute to help firm up the core and bring that stability back. Now, let's go ahead and release that tension. So we're going to stand and just kick out the left leg forward to the side a couple more times before we cross over. And that just helps, just in case we're extra tight. Crossing the midline is just going to keep us from, hopefully, stretching something that's not ready. Anyhow, let's move on up to the shoulders. So as we return to our mountain, we're getting a little taller. We're feeling like our body is just straightening up just a little bit more. And that may take more time than just today's class, so don't worry, but we're moving towards that position. So moving towards the shoulders, we're going to have the palms facing forward, standing a little taller in our mountain, gentle tuck under of the tailbone. Let's go ahead and inhale, the shoulders come straight up, not towards the ears, but straight up towards the ceiling. And then exhale, roll them back, and then let them melt down the back fully by the end of your exhale, engaging the belly slightly at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale, shoulders come up, maybe even the torso lifts up. Exhale, roll them back and down the shoulders. And we're doing a total of 4 here as well before we switch to forward rolling on the exhale. So here's my last one here. And starting the next round. Inhaling, shoulders up. Now we roll forward on the exhale and down. See if you can still get those triangular shoulder blades to rest down and tuck into the mid-back at the angel's tips of those shoulder blades. And then when that's done, you can go ahead and shake out any leftover tension if you feel that. But we'll move to the last point, the neck. Now here, it's really important, I'll just turn around for a moment, trying to keep the points of the shoulders, the hips, and the feet evenly distributing the weight in the body. So as you lift up, and if your ear tilts to the one side, if your shoulder comes up with it, just exhale it back down. We want to keep the shoulders in line, hips in line, feet in line. So we'll go ahead and start here. Inhaling tall. Start really reaching up through the crown of the head. Feel as if the ear is over the shoulders, over the hips, over the ankles. So that lifting sensation there. Exhale, just let the right ear dip towards the right shoulder. Inhaling, the chest lifts. Exhaling, the gaze turns. Palms are facing forward to help keep the shoulders rotated away from the ears. And you're just using a total of about 4 breath cycles. Just get some release to the left side of your neck. Even resting the eyes on the rightmost side of your vision can help you to release that much more. So as you approach your very last breath cycle, inhale, bring the eyes back into the gaze turns, and at the top of that inhale, hopefully you're feeling the lifting, energizing at the crown of the head, and then just dip over to the other side with the exhale. Feel that nice length. Inhale to lift the chest, exhale to turn the gaze. Exhaling that right shoulder down if it lifted while you turned. Using the next few breaths, we're just seeing if we can release through the right side of the neck. So try to keep that release in the neck. Or you may even find the eyes resting at the leftmost side. It would help you to release that much more. So after your very last inhale and exhale, we'll go ahead and bring the eyes, the gaze, the head all the way back up with the next inhale, and then just let the exhale guide the eyes downward. We're going to rest at about the top of the mat, about 6 feet in front of us, so we have that nice long length to the back of the neck. Inhaling, we may have a slight diagonal lifting even, but it's still an upward flow of the energy. Feel expansive in the rib cage. And shoulders still melting down the back with each exhale. Nice and loose, relaxed arms. Let's go ahead and inhale. The eyes come all the way back, upward, past the midline, towards the ceiling, until we can look almost above us. Once we can go ahead and stop craning the neck. We want to keep that as long as we can. And keeping the mouth at a small O and then a larger O within the next 4 breaths or so, you might be able to release some tension in the lower jaw. Maybe even a left to right movement, gentle, slow movement of the lower jaw. Deep sigh. Controlled exhale is always nice, firming the belly at the bottom of the exhale. And then we can inhale, bring the eyes back to center. And go ahead and just shake out any leftover tension, any gripping of the mat by just lifting the toes, the heels, and we'll move into our modified sun salutations. So really reaching with the fingers downward, feel nice and open at the top of the shoulders and still reaching downward. We're going to inhale, extend while we're still reaching, and maybe the entire torso lifts up at the top. We'll hinge at the hips as we exhale slowly with control. Somewhere halfway down, we can walk the hands down. You can bend your knees too if your legs are very tight in the back. Keep a deep bend if you need. And as you return to mountain or as you're lengthening through your fold, your legs will get longer, straighter, and you'll feel that nice support right from the hips all the way down to the heels. So if you feel yourself tilting forward a little too much, roll some weight towards the heels. You can lift the toes as well to kind of recalibrate your center of gravity. Now, it's our first fold, and many of us, especially as we're getting older, it's a lot stiffer
in the mornings or in the afternoons or during cold weather. So give yourself some time as you go for your first deep bend. Maybe your fingertips are touching the mat. Maybe your hands are at the tops of the feet, the ankle. Maybe they're at the shins. Maybe you're so deeply folded with the knees that your forearms are resting on your thighs. That's okay. Wherever you are, you're in your version of a forward fold, and it's pretty lengthy. So as we're coming up to the last couple of breath cycles, focus on just lengthening. Imagine from the tailbone all the way to the crown of the head, we're just releasing there. So keeping the support in the legs, just inhale deeply and then exhale one more time. See if you find a little more release. You can gently nod your head no, nod it yes, and maybe let gravity help it dangle like a plum weight. And then with a slow inhale, we're going to slowly roll up, but let's engage our core first. Let's start to press into the feet, firm up the legs, and engage the belly. And as much as that's being engaged, the upper body is loose. We're just slowly unfurling the spine. That deep, slow inhale will help us kind of inflate back up towards the top, palms facing forward, shoulders melting down the back, and just let yourself respond to the blood rushing back to the head. One more deep inhale, one more deep exhale. Let's come back to our mountain. Energizing one more time, we're gonna have another forward fold, a little shorter this time, so reaching downward, let's inhale, extend the arms upward, lift up with the top of the inhale, exhale, hinge, and engage the core to help you make it down. And then fully at the end here, you're completely exhaled. Let's inhale for a half lift. We're just going to feel length from the sits bones all the way to the crown of the head. Nice and long. Neck and back are in the same alignment, and you're looking straight down at the mat. Notice if you're rolling to the outer edges of your feet, bring a little weight towards the inner arches. We still want that center of gravity evenly distributed in the feet, a little more at the tops of the arches. Let's go ahead and exhale and bend the elbows. Return naturally to your fold, fully exhaled. And then this time we're going to come up with a straighter back, but you have the option to roll up, just as we did previously, if your back is kind of sensitive. And halfway up, you can always walk your hands back up the legs. Inhale, let's inhale, extend the arms, and slow inhale should help us manpower all the way back up, or you can slow curl back up. And once you're up here, let's go ahead and exhale, hands down, heart center. Shoulders are relaxed, elbows nice and loose next to the rib cage. Inhaling weight into the left standing leg, we lift up the right foot. Exhale the right heel. Ball of foot and toes down. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, left foot. Inhale, right foot up. Exhale, right foot down. If you feel wobbly, you can always press into the palms. Keep the shoulders nice and loose. And at the top of the mat, we'll meet in mountain once more. Looking at the fingertips, let's press into our palms. Inhale, watch the fingertips rise. At the top, we'll separate the hands. Exhale, hinge at the hips, engage the core. Come on down, walk the hands down if you need. Fully exhaled in our fold, let's inhale, half lift. Nice and long back. Exhale, let's plant the hands at either side of the feet. Step one leg back and then the other. We're going to inhale our shoulders over the wrists. Now bring down your knees, untuck the toes, and feel that nice wide opening at the tops of the shoulders. Looking directly down, we're just keeping our fingers nice and splayed. You can play with the positioning of the shoulders, but you do want them over the wrists as much as possible. And just extending through the arms, like you're doing a push-up or something, but you're just keeping extension in the arms. That will help to keep the shoulder blades nice and open and wide at the top of the shoulders, kind of like they're moving away from the center of the spine. Now let's go ahead and tuck the toes, lift up the hips with the inhale, and press into our down dog. We're bringing the hips back. Heels may not make it to the floor, that's okay. But you can cycle them out. Bend one knee alternately, then the other. You can sway the hips. And in our first down dog, We're staying here about 5 deep breath cycles, so give yourself some time to open up. Notice how your dog is feeling. If you need to shorten the stance between the hands and the feet, that's fine. What you're looking for is an upside down V in your ears, somewhere in between your inner arms. And at some point, if the heels do make it down to the mat, that's great. But again, they don't have to. They could be lifted, but we're working towards bringing them down. So you'll just need to see how that feels at the back of the legs. Now, keeping the core engaged, just engage it. You don't have to suck in the belly, but just engaging it will help you feel that point right at the apex of this upside down V of your down dog. And that should be lifting upwards while the hands and the feet are moving towards lengthening your appendages downward. So with the next inhale, let's go ahead and roll our eyes towards our hands. We're going to walk the hands on an exhale to the back of the mat. Bend those knees very deeply if you're having trouble meeting the back of the mat at the feet in the fold. But here in the fold, we're fully exhaled, and we're going to inhale for a half lift, nice and long. Exhale, fold, bend the elbows. It'll hopefully bring you into your fold naturally. And then engage the core. Press into the feet, engage the thighs. Arms extend, and we inhale all the way back up top or walk it up. Exhaling, hands down, heart center. One more walking meditation. Inhale, right foot up. Exhale, right foot down. Inhale, left foot up. Exhale, left foot down. So a slow, steady race to the top of the mat. One step, one full breath cycle. Engaging the core, pressing into the palms, helps to keep your balance. And at the top of the mat, let's go ahead and press into the palms, looking at the fingertips. Inhale, watch the fingertips rise. Exhale, separate the hands, hinge at the hips, engage the core, come on down for a fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step into your high plank. Inhale, shoulders over the wrists, and we're going to stay with nice long legs. Feel that energy from the heels all the way through the crown of the head. You can lift the hips higher if you need, but don't let them get under that hypotenuse. We want to have it nice and strong in the upper back. And then with an inhale, let's go ahead and lift up the hips. Exhale, press into the arms. Bring your down dog into play by simply shifting the hips back and then lowering down your heels to your ability. If you find that you're really able to bring the feet down, you may end up wanting to have a little bit of a pigeon-toed aspect to the feet if that helps you to release even more. But we're only about 3 breath cycles here, so giving yourself a little bit of time to alternately cycle out your dog. Make sure those shoulders are not caving into the ears, internally rotating, by just simply bringing the crooks of your elbows to the top of the mat. Points of the elbows should bend towards the back. That gives you a lot of space between the head and the arms, which is what you want. Nice and open upper shoulders. And then we're going to exhale, engage the core one more time, looking to the hands. We're going to inhale, and then exhale, walk the hands to the back of the mat, to the fold, fully exhaled at the back of the mat. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. Inhale, extend the arms, come on up. Exhaling, hands down, heart center, and then finally down to the side. Let the shoulders relax, let the arms be relaxed. Feel the heart beating in the chest. Great, and then we can move on to our standing poses. Now we have a number of poses we use for standing in this class. Tree, dancer, holding onto the foot, holding onto the shin. So we'll do those over the course of time, and I think we've done most of those already, but we're going to do the Bikram breathing standing exercise. And that is something where you're just standing in Tadasana in mountain, but we're bringing the hands over our head. So if you have difficulty bringing the hands over the head, that's okay. You can bring them out a little farther in front of you instead of directly over the head. Just do your best. So as we're standing in our mountain, I'm going to turn to the side so you have the benefit of seeing how the side stretch goes. We'll go ahead and inhale up the arms. And again, just standing here, you're feeling energized as the palms are touching hopefully, but if they're not, you can have some space between them. But we really want to feel that uplifting energy, and if you can bring the palms to touch, that's even better. So as we're here, we're feeling nice and long through the leg. Let's go ahead and exhale, let the arms sweep downward. Go ahead and just gently shake loose your shoulders, alternately roll one and then the other, forward and back. And we'll do that one more time. Let's get ready in our mountain. Feeling nice and supported in our legs. We'll inhale, draw the energy upward. And as you're standing here for about 3 breaths, see if you can straighten up to your best ability. If your hands are out here, you're just stretching forward. And if you're able to, then you can bring the hands directly above the head. If you're already with your hands above the head, let's go ahead and grip the fingers and inhale, point upward, really pressing into the heels, legs, reaching upwards. And then exhale, release the hands, let them gently float back down to the side. All right, now we're gonna do that same movement, and turning to you on this side, we're going to stretch to the right side. So keeping your feet hips distance apart, and really you're only going to go to the side until you stop. You don't feel like you really have to, crunch over. That's not what you're trying to do. You're trying to keep that, maintain that stretch upwards, and then getting a little bit more release by just simply moving until you stop towards the right. You're getting this tremendous stretch to the right side. So you may not have much of a difference between our mountain before and the side stretch. Just depends on how open your body is. So standing once more in mountain, bringing the arms above the head or somewhere in that vicinity, interlacing the fingers. Index fingers are out. You can interlace the thumbs as well. Let's lift up, point those fingers upwards. And with that lift still there, we're just going to tilt over to the other side. Feel as if your left hip and right hip are still in the same horizontal alignment. Breathing in, engaging the core on the exhale. And then let's inhale, arms up, and then let the arms float back down. And let's go ahead and bend one knee and bend the other, just in case you're gripping that mat. And then we're gonna side stretch to the other side, and we'll be done. So inhaling, hands up above us, feet are hips distance apart, interlace the fingers, and you can switch the grip. If your left thumb was on top before, have your right thumb on top this time. But anyhow, your fingers are stretched up above you, and with that lift still there and energized, we're just going to exhale, gently dip over to the other side. It's kind of like when we were doing our neck stretches. You don't want to force the stretch, you're just naturally moving into it. So if you find that your palms are spaced out, separated, see if you can bring them back together. And make sure your hip bones are at the same alignment. One more deep inhale. One more deep exhale, engage the core. And then inhale all the way back up. Release the grip and allow the hands to float back down. Go ahead and give your shoulders another shake, wrists another shake, and then we'll be making our way down to a low lunge. So here's where we need either the chair, if we know it's difficult for us to go into a lunge, or you can have the blocks. I'll demonstrate with the chair first, so you can see. With the chair, we need at least 2 of the legs on the mat so you don't slide in case you're on a slippery floor. And what you want to do is just stand in front, and we'll be using, I'll be using my right knee to bend in front and sitting down on the chair. You can use the back of the chair to hold on to it. But you want to have that left hip bone off of the edge of the seat. The right hip bone should be on the seat. And all you're going to do is, if you're here, you're able to be supported by the chair, your arm is helping to support you upright, and you could just play with the opening of this left hip, because that's essentially what we're doing, is trying to open up the hip with these lunges. But it's so difficult when you're just on your own without a chair. You really have to have a certain cultivation of strength in order to do these without the use of props. So if you're able to just sit in the chair, we're breathing for about 5 breaths with just opening up the hip, keeping the spine nice and tall, situated in our pelvic bowl. So if your left foot is have it is, let's see, tucked onto the toes. You can untuck the toes. That'll give you a nice stretch to the toes, the tops of the ankle. But if that's just too much for you, you can always keep the tip of the toes there. You can also keep your foot resting on a block if for some reason the opening in the left hip is causing issues for you in your ankle. So those are some props that you can use to help open up that left leg. Now, if you're not on the block, if you're not on the chair, we would be using the blocks like we did last time, where we would stand and just step a little bit back with one foot. And because we're starting with our right one, it's the left foot back. And then we would bend that right knee. And we would just keep walking it down until we could fold over with the blocks in front. And then we could bring that left knee down. And again, if the left knee has issues, we might have to bring the support of a folded blanket under the shin. And we're really looking for trying to get the placement of the upper foot right underneath that right knee without having our hips skewing to the right or to the left. So as you can see, this is a much deeper stretch, but for some of you, it might be what you need, and you may not want to use a prop like a chair or blocks. But for some of us, we're working towards this. This is the low lunge, but modifying with blocks on under your hands and your left knee down. As long as your right knee is above that right ankle, you're pretty good to go. We're just focusing on opening up this left hip, keeping the hips not only parallel to one another, but not skewing to the right or to the left. We don't want them the hips dipping one down and one up. We want them parallel to another and perpendicular to the top of the mat. Now, we've been here for a little bit, so I demonstrated with the blocks. We'll go ahead and turn that out. And then coming back up safely. We'll move over to the other side. We essentially did 2 rounds for me, but let's move to this side now. And again, using the chair as the first demonstration, or you can just go ahead and use your blocks. But we're looking for placement of the front leg first. And sitting here in our chair, we're able to support our left sits bone and start to situate the openness of the right hip, making sure that these 2 hips are facing the front of the mat, perpendicular to the mat, and that they're not skewed to the left or to the right, but also that one is not hanging down lower or higher. So we don't have a hip bone that's off from each other. So we want them nice and supported. And just feel yourself out. Give yourself a little bit of time. See if you need something for the back of the foot to rest on, maybe the shin. You'll just need to play with that. But with the chair, you have that ability to support the left body and really focus on just stabilizing with a support like the chair. And again, the block as well. Just depends on where you are. So once you find that spot that feels good, you're just breathing. It's about 3 to 5 breaths. And coming up, we'll go ahead and bring the foot back up, help ourselves out of the chair. We'll go for our second round. Use the chair again if you'd like, or use the blocks. Go for the second round. And standing in mountain. And then stepping, one foot back. Oh, I think I'm on the wrong leg. Here we go. So we're just seeing how that feels. Keeping our hips above the mat, parallel to the mat, perpendicular to the mat. Seeing if we need to modify by bringing the knee down. And then once you find your special spot, having the 3 to 5 breaths to help open up that right hip. And eventually, we're moving into an upright position. We focus on the foundation first. We're opening up the right hip. And then that right hip, the finishing touch, is just simply lifting, straightening up the torso. And again, depends on where your version of this low lunge is.
but you want to make sure the hips are aligned with one another as well as perpendicular to the top of the mat. And you'll find whether or not you can extend, release a little more with the upper body, torso. But that's the last thing. So last, to come out, we're bringing our hands to our blocks if they're there, or down to the floor, and then we can bring our knee down if it's up. If our knee is already down, then we can just help to bring the legs together, and you can remove your blocks. And we'll be making our way down to the floor next. Let me remind myself. It's a great time for a little bit of water. So let's get it a little bit. And next, we are going to come into our butterfly. So let's see, I can't see the clock from there. Hang on just a moment. So we're doing well here with time. Let's go into our butterfly. So on your back, you can come with the two blocks as well. Or you can be flat on your back if that feels good to you. That's a pretty deep hip opening to be flat on the back. But if you can, please help yourself. Be slow in movement, and getting yourself there is half the chore here. So what we're looking for is, as we're moving into our butterfly, just sitting on our sits bones. And you can rock from left to right if you're not sure that you're in the center of things. Sometimes that helps. And then you'll notice whether or not your spine is pitching forward or if it's perpendicular to the pelvic bowl. We want to have a nice upright body. And as our hips are open and available to us, we're drawing in the soles of the feet closer, and the heels, drawing them closer to the groin. So if we're really tight on our hips and our knees and our ankles, we might have a straighter version of our legs, more of a diamond shape instead of a butterfly shape. So it just depends. We want to make sure we're feeling balance on our sits bones and our back is upright. And then we can see about deepening the hip opening in this upright butterfly. So it takes about 3 to 5 breaths. And if you're finding that, oh gosh, your hips are really needing some support, you can bring blocks underneath the knees, or to the sides of the knees, I guess. And that kind of helps. You can have it higher up on the thighs, if that helps. But eventually, as your body opens up, you may not even need the blocks. It might be just gravity helping you to open up with some time. But we've probably found our boundary, our edge here. So once we've been upright and we've gotten this foundation of our butterfly, you can go ahead and start to fold forward from the hips. You may not move forward at all. We're starting to fold, and if you find that you stop like maybe a fraction of an inch forward, that's okay. That's your final edge. There's nothing more you need to do but to relax the upper shoulders and just relax. You can face the palms towards the ceilings. Palms up will help to keep the shoulders open. And just breathe. 5 deep breath cycles here. See if with the inhales, you can feel the rib cage expand sideways, forward and back, just really expanding. And then with the slow exhale, engaging the core, kind of like squeezing toothpaste out of a toothpaste tube. You're just really trying to get all the air out with the help of the belly. That ujjayi breath. You can soften the gaze as well. And then as you finish your very last breath cycle,
We'll go ahead and bring our palms down to the mat. Try to straighten up this torso, walking the hands towards the hips to help. And then you can use your hands to help guide the knees up as you lengthen through the legs. So the soles of the feet will eventually come back to this staff position where it's facing away from you. Go ahead and tap out your knees. We're going to roll down one elbow at a time onto our back. And I'm going to get the mic out of my back. So, as we're doing this, the thing to think about is a spinal twist. It's going to be pretty short, but it's just something to help counter stretch this butterfly that we're in. We're not in our usual lengthier spinal twist. It's just going to be something as a counter stretch. So go ahead and come on down to your back, get comfortable, flatten out any pinched folded skin. And then we're going to go ahead and keeping the knees bent in our base bridge position. You don't need to worry about the blocks. It's just going to be a counter stretch. We'll go ahead and extend the left leg. Inhale the right foot up. See if you can get a hold of the right thigh. Inhale to extend that right leg best that you can. You can inhale, flex and point the toe if that helps you. You can gently guide the thigh flesh inward if you find yourself outwardly rotating that hip for some reason. See if you can gently guide it more so that the knee and the toes are more in line. And then you can go ahead and bring out your right arm. We're going to guide the right leg over with the left hand. So gently just rolling on over. You can use your right arm and the left hand to help guide that right leg over. And then just let it land where it's going to be. Inhaling once, exhaling once. And then let's go ahead and inhale. Help the right leg back with both hands. We're coming back onto our mat, extending that right leg nice and long. Let's make sure we don't have any folded skin and our spine is in line with our neck. Once more, let's inhale, bend the left knee. Bring the left sole of the foot to the base bridge position. Right leg is still extended nice and long. Hopefully the right calf is resting on the floor. Let's inhale, lift up the left foot, grab a hold of the left thigh. If you can get that perpendicular to your body, you're bringing it upright. And then use the next breath or two to see if you can extend the leg best that you can. You might have a deep bend to the knee, and that's just where you are. That's all right. We're working towards lengthening, straightening the leg. You can flex the foot, release, then just let it be. You can gently guide the flesh of the left leg inward if you have a noticeable outward rotation of the flesh. All right, then let's take the right hand to gently rest on that left thigh, left hand out at a T, and help to roll over. So inhaling, we're just rolling onto our right side, guiding the left leg over with our right hand, pushing us into the roll with the left hand until we land where we do. Just breathe twice, 2 deep breath cycles. And then inhale, guide the legs back up, roll onto the back on the mat, and then let's go ahead and extend that left leg long. Go ahead and tap it out. Make any last minute moves that feel good to you. We're about to approach our Shavasana, but we're having our Yoga Nidra meditation. I'll be sitting upright, meditate with you, and keep time. But for you, you can be nice and relaxed on your back. If you need a blanket, it's a great time to get warm. You might feel a little coolness. And then all we're going to focus on in this guided meditation is moving through different parts of the body. And it's not a traditional Yoga Nidra of 64 points on the body, but we're going to do our best given the hour time that we have. So you don't need to move anything. All you need to do is just bring your attention to that part of your body that I call out. Notice it, become aware of it, and then move on to the next spot that we call out in the guided meditation. So you can close your eyes if that feels safe to you. And then the next couple of breaths, just get a little softer, a little quieter.
and we'll begin. So bringing your awareness to the crown of the head. See if you can relax the crown of the head 1% more. No movement is necessary. Bring your awareness to the center of the forehead. Relaxing 1% more, the center of the forehead. Awareness to the base of the throat. Awareness to the right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, right thumb, right index finger, right middle finger, right ring finger, right pinky finger. Awareness to the right hand, right arm. Awareness to the base of the front of the throat. Awareness to the left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, left thumb, left index finger, left middle finger, left ring finger, left pinky finger, left hand. Awareness to the left arm. Awareness to the base of the front of the chest. Awareness to the center of the chest. Awareness to the navel. Awareness to the pubis. To the right hip. Right knee. Right ankle. Right big toe. Second toe. Third toe. Fourth toe. Fifth toe. Right foot, right ankle, right leg, right hip, center of the pubis, bring awareness to the left hip, left knee, left ankle,
battery low,
left big toe, left second toe, left third toe, left fourth toe, fifth toe, left foot, left ankle, left leg, left hip. Awareness to the pubis, to the navel, to the center of the chest, right chest, back of the chest, left chest. Awareness to the center of the chest. Awareness to the base of the throat. Awareness to the center of the brow. And finally, bringing your awareness to the crown of the head. See if you can relax your body, your entire body, 1% more.
battery low,
And for the next 5 minutes, just allow the body to respond to today's practice. Let the belly be soft. Let the tongue remove from the roof of the mouth. Fingers soft, unfurled. And the belly just rising and falling with the breath. We'll awaken when you hear the 3 bells.
Bringing the mind back to the body. Take note of sounds outside the room, sounds within the room, and finally back to the breath. Notice the air as it enters the nose. Notice the air as it exits the nose. And as you reconnect to the body once more, I invite you to make any movements with your hands. You can wiggle your fingers, toes, you can rock. You can hug the knees in and rock from side to side, forward and back. Give yourself a little bit of space to wake up once more, and we'll meet in an upright seated position. You can roll to your favorite side for a fetal position and then help yourself up, pushing into the arm, forearm, hands. You can rock and roll your way back up with momentum. And we'll meet in either a staff pose or an easy seated position. That's just one shin out in front of the other. So, ending class with our prana exercise for today. It's just a breath exercise to help you feel a little more balanced and a little energized. So we'll go ahead and use our prayer hand sweeping motion to help bring a little energy back up today. So bringing the hands off to the side, you can just go ahead and relax your shoulders nice and loose. Elbows are nice and soft next to the rib cage. Palms are facing up. Let's go ahead and extend the arms upward. Inhaling as we go, and at the top with our hands completely above us somewhere, we're hopefully at the top of our inhale, we're going to exhale palms down, heart center. Engage the belly at the bottom of the exhale. Inhaling, hands out to the side, palms up. Bringing the palms to touch if you can at the top. Exhaling, palms down, heart center. Engaging the belly fully at the bottom of the exhale. Inhaling, hands to the side. We'll do 2 more of these. Inhaling up, exhaling down. One last one. Inhaling up, exhaling down. Thank you so much for joining me, Jeani, here at the ACC Zoom room for gentle yoga at 1 p.m. I hope you feel a little more like yourself and have a wonderful day. Namaste. I'm here for the next couple of minutes, the next few minutes or so. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. Any questions, comments, feedback?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Have a great day.